Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another Rookie Card Collector 123 video. Today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about a change that eBay has gradually been implementing. I just found out today, I guess it's been happening over the past number of months, since earlier this year. I just got notice of it a couple of days ago, so I thought it was something new for all sellers. But apparently it's been gradually being rolled out, and there's still many more sellers yet to come. But basically, the change in the eBay policy for sellers revolves around the fact that prior to this new implementation, when sellers got paid for an item they sold on eBay, eBay would end up putting the money in your bank account, typically about 24 to 48 hours after the item sold. And that was a pretty consistent time frame. That's business hours, so if it happened over the weekend, it would add an extra couple of days. With this new change, the money going into your bank account now going forward, and for those that have been affected, it's already started, effective immediately. The funds from your sales on there, you now have to wait not only more than a day or two, but you've got to wait until the item ships to the buyer and the buyer receives the item. The tracking info is proof that the buyer's item was delivered. And not only that, but many of the items that are larger value items that need to go through the authenticity guarantee program, those still have to go to the authenticator. Authenticator then, once they receive it, has to do their part, then ship it off to the buyer. Once that tracking info shows that it was delivered from the authenticator to the buyer, now we've got to wait another 3 business days to ensure the buyer's not going to opt to open a return, if that's a possibility. So in the normal case, without an authentication guarantee program involved, it's probably going to be somewhere between a week and a half before you get your money deposited into your bank account. Again, prior to this, it was 1 or 2 business days, typically. If it is part of the Authenticity Guarantee Program, instead of 1 or 2 business days, now you're probably looking at 2 weeks to 3 weeks before the money's going to be going into your bank account. Another thing regarding eBay that I've noticed recently, again in the past month or so, even more so, it seems that every large dollar item that has to go through the Authenticity Guarantee Program, I've seen this both from the seller side, when I sell something that's part of the program, as well as from the buying side, where I make a purchase that's part of the Authenticity Guarantee Program. The time frame that it's taking the authenticator, we all know at this point PSA is authenticating everything raw and graded. So it's taken PSA substantially longer amount of time to authenticate these items than what it did 6 months ago or a year ago, or longer, since the program started. And I've started wondering, why suddenly is this time frame getting so long? Instead of usually 1 or 2 days and it's being shipped out by the authenticator, almost every time now it's been a full week before they actually send the item on to the buyer after authentication. Once I got wind of this new change for the seller funds availability, today I just starting to realize and put 2 and 2 together. And the way all this rolls into one is with this new funds availability policy, and like I said, some sellers have already undergone this change months ago. It happened to me just this past week. So with this new funds availability policy, where the item has to be delivered to the buyer before the money is available to the seller, Well, guess what? During all that week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks time frame that the money remains in eBay's hands, it's not going to the seller, and it's already out of the buyer's account or credit card or whatever their source of payment was. Guess what? eBay has those funds for that week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks in their quote unquote bank account. And the interest that eBay would have on those funds while it's sitting in their account, as opposed to the buyer or the seller, the interest on those monies can be obviously very, very substantial, very significant. When you look at the millions of customers and millions of transactions that take place on eBay every day. So it's becoming more and more clear, number one, what's caused this problem with the authentication program now dragging along so much more than it used to, is kind of what's probably behind this funds availability change, and it all kind of ties together, where it's in eBay's best interest to delay the process. The longer it's delayed, the longer they hold on to the money, the longer they get float on the interest for that money while it's sitting in their accounts before it gets released to the seller. So to me, this is a horrible situation. I don't see the sellers have any recourse other than what I've tried to do in the past when I've gotten upset with eBay for various other issues over the years. You can threaten to not sell on eBay anymore and go to another online avenue or your own website or whatever. And I've tried to do that in the past, and I always end up having to come back to eBay, because the reality is nobody has the eyeballs on their items that eBay has. So we're kind of prisoners of the system, and whatever eBay says, there's no, you can try to fight it, but it's a losing battle. And again, I'm kind of looking and facing this right now because I'm furious at the way this is being done. And I think a lot of sellers haven't been affected yet. That's why the uproar hasn't been quite as great as it will be at some point once everybody is under these new rules. But not sure what to do. I don't know who regulates eBay. Who does eBay report to? When I used to be in banking, we had the FDIC, we had the federal regulators, we had the state banking commission. So if we didn't do something right or somebody had a complaint, those areas were notified, and the bank could be heavily fined, could be shut down. Lots of different repercussions. I don't know what kind of repercussions eBay could possibly face with this situation, but I think it's terrible for the consumers. On the buyer side on eBay now, people with the authenticity guarantee, larger value purchases, they're stuck waiting for their items much longer than they were 6 months or a year ago because of this program. And the sellers are stuck with cash flow issues for 2 to 3 weeks now during these authenticity guarantee item situations, as opposed to 24 to 48 business hours as it was before. Again, I have no solution for it. Just wanted to put this out there. I haven't really seen anybody else, at least in the sports card realm, like I am, put any video out on YouTube yet regarding this eBay situation. But please feel free to leave comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on it. Anybody has any other ideas? I guess maybe I'm going to be forced at some point to get into other social media avenues like Instagram and Facebook and some of these other online sources for moving sports cards. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, and talk to you guys again soon.